Okay, hello everyone. In this video we are going to learn about meaning of capital gain, or we can call it as capital receipt and revenue receipt. Okay, first we'll know the meaning and basic difference between capital receipt and revenue receipt, or we can call it as income also. Then we'll see few questions based on this concept. In earlier videos especially, I have made a basic things related to capital expenditure as well as revenue expenditures. The same way here the things are going to repeat. Here majorly we'll concentrate on the income, how we are going to identify it. Okay, so capital receipt, nothing but an income generated by selling an asset in higher price what you have purchased. For example, here just you read this point. The term capital gain refers to the income in the value of capital asset when it is sold, or in simple term, capital gain occurs when you sell an asset more than what you originally paid. For example, you purchased a building in your area, 5 years back you have purchased, okay, for around 50 lakh. Okay, so you got a better job in a foreign country. Okay, so your entire family is shifting to your UK, okay, for example. So for that particular purpose you don't have a plan to coming back to India or kind of something like that. So what you people are planning now, you are going to sell this building, what you have purchased, no, that one you are going to sell it now. For example, in 2024 current year, the value of this building is been increased tremendously. Okay, so which you purchased for 50 lakh, now it is valued at, for example, 90 lakh. See, 40 lakhs is a difference. Okay, so directly we won't identify 40 lakhs as your profit. There are certain calculation. We will calculate present value of the building, will calculate. This particular calculation you people will be learning under the head income under capital gain. Okay, while reading that particular part of income tax, so you'll clearly understand what you mean by capital asset, how you are going to identify a asset as a capital asset, then calculations you'll get to know. Okay, now basically you purchased a 50 lakh building, worth 50 lakh building you have purchased. Now you are selling it for 90 lakh. 40 lakh, what difference you have, no? This one we are going to consider this as a revenue receipt. So by selling an capital asset, basically we can identify as the asset which is used more than 1 year. Basic meaning, not as per income tax, as per Companies Act we can say any asset which is being used for more than an year, 1 year. Okay, those assets are being considered as capital asset, and any income generated by those assets are being considered as capital income. You are getting my point, right? So here the important points to be noted here is capital gain is the increase in the asset value, capital asset value. So you learn what you mean by capital asset in the further videos. Okay, capital gain apply to any type of asset including investment and those of purchases for personal use also. So here in capital gain topic, there is no bifurcations like that should be only used for business purpose, not for personal, nothing like that. So capital gain is calculated for the individuals of the country, okay, or individual group of persons. In basic chapter we learn, right, person. So here the capital gain is being calculated for persons. Persons means either an individual or a HUF or firm. It can be a company or association of persons. We learned 7 types of persons, right? In that anyone can be may have capital asset, and for that we can calculating the rate of taxes in the further chapters. Okay, so next, capital asset. Capital gain is been always divided into 2 types. One is long term capital gain, another one is short term capital gain. Okay, these are the basic things we should know about the capital gain. If any short note questions have been asked for section B, means you can mention these points for your for scoring better marks. Okay, so these concept detailedly will learn later. Okay, unrealized gain and losses reflect an increase or decrease in the investment value but are not considered as a taxable in capital gain. A capital loss is incurred when there is a decrease in the, yes, we have chances of sustaining loss in capital while selling the capital asset. For example, maybe you purchase a land in some rural area, for example. Okay, so that particular area, for example, interior village of your particular state, you purchased a land. Okay, now the government announced that particular area as a economically weaker place. Okay, or kind of prohibited area where survival of people is very difficult, kind of something. Government has been put a notice for that particular area where you purchased a land, thinking you thought that area might be developed after few years, but instead of developing, it is not being developed. In such cases, your worth of your land will come down. For example, you purchased a land for 10 lakh, now it is been valued at 9 lakh only. No one is ready to purchase. Okay, in that particular case, 1 lakh you sustain loss, isn't it? So we have a chances of occurring loss in selling the assets also. Okay, that point also we can write. Okay, so these concepts regarding the capital gain, one is long term and another one is short term. And for long term capital gains and short term capital, if you have to understand this concept, means first you should learn about capital asset. For particular basic concept, those things are not required. Just go through the just briefly see to it what do you mean by capital asset, and what do you mean by capital expenditure, revenue expenditures, capital receipt and revenue receipt. For particular chapter, in this chapter we are going to learn only about the capital receipt. What 4 points I have discussed, right? Only that points will be we are going to read. In further chapters, you'll detailedly learn about the each heads of income. As I always say, we have 5 heads. For these 5 heads, we have separate chapters. Okay, entirely we are going to learn. Maximum things we will be learning. After knowing all those things, we'll look into the deductions, set off and carry forward of the losses, kind of things will be there. Simple only, no need to get confused. So one by one we'll see to it. Now only I don't want to get trouble you with the capital asset. That is a 3rd chapter. Now not need. Okay, so I'll directly move on to important points which is required now. Okay, here revenue. What do you mean by revenue receipt? We can call this one as revenue is a money generated from normal business operations. Okay, calculated as the average of sales price times of the unit sold. For example, revenue receipt of a particular individual or the company, nothing but the regular income of a particular company or for the individual. So anything is been occurring regular in nature or regular in activities, those things are considered as revenue receipt. So often referred to as a sale or top line or the money received for the normal business activities. Okay, in case of operating incomes or non-recurring income derived from secondary sources like lawsuit proceeds and so on, we'll look into few examples also here. Yes, in order to understand the revenue is a money bought into a company by its business activities. There are different ways to calculate revenue depending upon the accounting. So most of the time capital gain is being calculated for the all the persons of the IT Act, whereas revenue is especially for the companies and the firms. Okay, whereas individuals will earn salary, right? Isn't it? If you are an employee, means definitely you are going to earn salary. Salary will be included in the first head of your income, that is income from salary. So we don't have a chance of receiving revenue. You should know that salary is different and revenue is different in point of view of an income tax officer. Okay, here each words are very important. You should not mix up everything to one particular thing. Okay, so here majority of the revenue, here we are talking about the business perspective only. Okay, so there is a different way to calculate revenue. It depends upon the this entire paragraph is going to define your revenue based upon the accounting methods or accounting concepts and principle which you are going to follow. Okay, accrual accounting will include the sales made on the, for example, if your company is following accrual concept of accounting principle, means even your credit sale will be considered as revenue. Okay, so then your income will be more, isn't it? So like that, it based upon your accounting policies and procedures of your calculations and method of calculating depreciation and all, it vary your income. Okay, so these are the again particular thing which is relating to the business and all. So here just understand capital gain non-occurring nature. Okay, basic thing. Okay, we are not repetitively going to sell your asset. No one will interested to sell your asset instead of we try 100% try to keep our asset safer only. In particular case, or due to if you are going to purchase a new asset, means we will sell the old one. Okay, so it is not a regular in nature. So basic thing you have to keep in mind, that is capital expenditure or an capital gain, both are similarly we can identify, both the things are non-recurring in nature. And opposite of that, revenue expenditures are revenue receipt or recurring in nature. It keeps on within a short interval of time, it will be repetitive in nature. Okay, this is the basic bottom line understanding of your concept. Whatever the statement they might be giving, you should read, you should understand, then you can answer it. Okay, so I'll move on to the basic difference between capital gain or the revenue receipt. Okay, basic comparisons here, the capital receipt and revenue receipt. Generally, whatever the difference between they are going to ask means you have to write the meaning first in order to give the detailed information about the concept. Okay, so generated from the investment and financing activities of a business. Okay, here instead of business you can write as financial activities of person. You can write in IT Act person means 7 persons. Okay, or if you want to elaborate it like individual or firm also you can write. Revenue receipt are the income generated from operating activities of the business. See, I told right, nature, non-recurring in nature and recurring in nature. Term of keeping an asset is long term. Okay, here it is short term. So always keep that in mind. Capital asset or capital gain will be reflected, or we are going to identify the capital gain in the balance sheet of the company, whereas a revenue receipt will be shown in the credit side of your income statement. Okay, income statement mean nothing but P&L account, you should know that. Okay, next, received in exchange of sources of income, and it is an income. Value of asset or liabilities, decrease the value of asset, increase the value of liabilities. Yes, if you have sold an asset means definitely the value will be reduced, isn't it? So in case if you received any liability means it is going to increase your liability value. Okay, here increase and decrease of the value of assets or liability, we can't precisely mention it because based upon the revenue or the nature of revenue it will affect the asset and liability. Okay, so see, I have shown few questions. Basically they might be asking this for only section B, that is for 5 marks. So illustration 1, state whether the following capital, revenue or deferred revenue in nature means not used for longer period or not neither longer nor short. Identifying right, generally capital or revenue which is less than 1 year, which is greater than maximum 4 to 5 years we can say. Deferred means nothing but in between these two. Okay, which is kept for more than 1 year and sold within 5 years. Okay, like that. So we'll see one by one. They have asked only the expenditures. Okay, carriage of rupees 7,500 spent on machinery purchased and installed. See, clearly understand, carriage is an revenue nature. Okay, but spent on, you should not depend upon this statement, you have to read the full statement and understand it. Okay, spent on machinery purchased and installed. See, we are not going to daily, we are not going to purchase, or monthly once we are definitely not going to purchase a machinery, isn't it? So once in 10 years 15 years we'll purchase a machinery. If our machinery is good, in good conditions, mean definitely we'll keep it for more than 20 years. Okay, so obviously carriage spent for purchase and installation will be considered as capital expenditures. So in exam, same like solution for your question number you have to write. Then point 1, you have to write the full statement and it should be treated as capital expenditures. You can write, or you can put hyphen and mention it as an capital expenditure. See, next one, heavy advertisement cost of rupees 20,000 spent on launching of company's new product. Yes, advertisement is a regular in nature. Once in a while we have to advertise our product. See here, heavy advertisement cost incurred because we are going to launch a new product. See here we can defining in order to launch our new product we are incurring heavy advertisement cost, but this is not going to we after 2 or 3 months we are not going to stop the advertisement, we are going to continue it, but initial stage it is higher in cost. So in this kind of statement it is deferred revenue expenditures, where here the income is going to continue, but initial stage it is been higher, so that it is considered as the deferred revenue expenditures. Next, rupees 200 paid for servicing the vehicle, including 50,000 changing of oil. It is regular in nature. In case of transportation, monthly or 15 days or 3 months once, so we are going to change these kind of expenses will be incurred. Next, construction of basement costing 1,95,000 at a factory premises. I am having a factory, for that I am constructing a basement. So regularly we are definitely not going to construct a building in our factory premises, because it we don't require for the business activities, isn't it? So it is capital in nature. Easily we can identify by reading and understanding it. Okay, so next one is also very simple. See to it. If you want, pause the video, write it, then try to solve yourself. Okay, second one, I'll give you 3 seconds, try to answer it, then I'll show you the answer in this video only. Okay, so I'll show you the answers here. Here you have the answers. Please see to it, understand it. If you have any doubts, just comment it. I'll try to solve it. Okay, so I'll move on to some other questions which is related to income. Okay, this is also related to expenses only. Yes, this 8th one, yeah, this 8th one is having both income as well as expenditures. We'll see to it. Okay, state with the reason whether the following items relating to Slapur Sugar Mill Limited as on capital or revenue. A truck costing 1 lakh and standing in the books at 60,000 sold for 70. See, costing 1 lakh in the sense cost of the product, initial cost of the product, that is book value of the company. Standing in the books means present value of your product. Okay, so present value of your truck is 60,000, but you sold for 70. So here what I sold an asset, so that I'm going to incur income, isn't it? So I received some income, that too up with profit of 10,000. So this will be considered as capital profit because we are selling an truck. Okay. Next, 50,000 received from issue of shares including 10,000 as premium. Okay. See here, 50,000 rupees 50,000 received from issue of share. Okay. By issuing shares received 50,000. Okay. The premium is 10,000. This is the question what they have given. So received means it is an income. We understood that it is a receipt, but we have to identify whether it is a capital or revenue. Obviously issue of shares is a capital. Daily the companies will not be issuing the capital. Okay. You might be thinking, in share market daily we are trading. No ma'am, how you can say that? See, share market is a secondary market. The already issued capitals are repeatedly. For example, I am selling, you are purchasing. Okay, the company issued only once. Earlier back days, 10 years or 15 years, while issuing IPO only the companies will issue. Okay. Now what you people are trading in NSE and BSE, right? That is a secondary market where one person will sell 100 shares, other people will purchases. For example, I may purchase 50 shares, you might be purchasing 20, and other two will be purchasing 10 each, like that. So it is a place where two third parties involvement will be there, not with the company. Okay. So obviously issue of shares will be considered as capital receipt. So here the premium will be shown in the capital profit, because see in statement capital receipt only. Here this why we have to mention it capital profit means we will be having a separate reserves, capital reserves, right? This capital profit will be transferred to capital reserve. That's why this 10,000 in the question they have shown as capital profit. If you feel like you don't know like about these concept means, like generally write it as capital receipt. Okay. Next, purchase agricultural land for the mill for 60,000, 500 also paid for land revenue. So see, this 60,000 what you paid for purchasing land, no, that is capital expenditure in nature. This one is for the revenue expenditure. Okay. Next, 5,000 paid as a contribution to PWD for the improving the roads of sugar producing area. So this is related to revenue expenditures. Next, 40,000 paid for excise duty on sugar manufactured, excise duty, income tax, and like GST. These things are we are going to pay regularly once in an year. Definitely we are going to pay tax, right, for that. So it is directly related to the process of your organization. Definitely revenue expenditure. Next, 70,000 spent for construction railway siding. So construction of railway siding is related to your capital. Constructions, renovations kind of words will be if you are seeing these words means definitely you have to mention it as capital expenditures. Okay. So this is the question how you have to solve in your examinations. Okay. Like they will be giving 5 to 6 statements. Either it may be related to capital expenditures or income, or else it related to agricultural income or non-agricultural income. For that I made a video earlier only. If you didn't watch it, means kindly see to it. So like this, they'll give 5 to 6 or maximum 7 statement. They will just randomly give the statement. You have to identify which particular part you are going to dealing with, whether it is a agricultural income or not an agricultural income, or whether it is a capital expenditure or revenue expenditure, or revenue income or capital income. Like that you have to identify it and you have to write it. Okay, so very simple and easy concept. If you had this question, means the chances of scoring is very high, because simply identifying as things is bit easier, like match the following or choose the correct answers. You will be having 4 options, but you have to choose the correct options. For that you have to do some hard work. Okay, so simple concept, hope you understood this. So in further videos we'll be moving on to our major part of income tax, that is 5 heads. We'll be solving one by one. For each one in-depth learning we'll be doing. So income tax, as a commerce student, income tax is very very important, career wise also, even for your personal life. So don't take income tax as a easy thing. So work hard. Okay, if you have any doubt, comment in the comment section.